Good morning, guys. Blue Jays are in the playoffs. So I've got the truck all loaded up here. We're going to take a 3-day trip down to Lindsay, Ontario to hang out with my Uncle Mike. And we've got the essentials that we need for a weekend of watching the Blue Jays kick some butt in the playoffs. I am not going to be pessimistic. We're going to win this wild card, and it's going to be freaking awesome. We're playing Minnesota. So I've got metal detecting gear in here, photography gear. We've got the trailer hooked up. We'll do some camping. Just 3 days away. Let's do this. Oh, this is editing, Gary. Don't let my optimism ruin this video. Of course the Blue Jays didn't win. They didn't even put up a fight. We'll get to that. Yeah, so I've got the camera gear as well. They have beautiful farmland, and in the fall, I'm sure it's going to look fantastic. Got about a 3.5-hour drive down to Uncle Mike's, but it is going to be beautiful. Colors the whole way. Eventually we'll get down to some farmland. Could have stopped 1,000 times to take pictures. There's so many nice little lakes along the side of the highway. The colors are right full peaked right now. So I just have to keep moving. Otherwise I'll never get there, because I would have the cameras out and it would just be move 100 yards down the highway, stop. Move 100 yards down the highway, stop. It is that pretty. All right, we're making progress. Hopefully we don't break down here. This is the little town of Kinmount. Just gonna leave that with you guys. You can't make this up. The name of the town is Kinmount. Next stop is Bob Cajun. If any of you guys are Tragically Hip fans, you'll know the town of Bob Cajun. All right, spare you guys all the pain. I already popped it up. Look at that. And it was not in a level spot at all. I'm getting good at this. The door actually fit on the other side. It literally took me 20 minutes by myself. I've got this down to a science. Here we are at Uncle Mike's, and the game starts in an hour and a half, so we got time for a beer. Whew. It's 30 degrees down here. I had to change t-shirts and shorts. I couldn't believe how hot it was. The sweat was just rolling off me trying to set up the trailer on the inside there. It was pretty warm. No, it doesn't. Well, we're not losing yet. Game just started. You're going to be in charge of the beer if you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Uncle Mike, because he's got me blocked in here, so.
Oh, you know what, Gary? You're going to wait a long time for a drink.
That's what he thinks. Well, 3-0 Minnesota. I think Uncle Mike needs another rye. Jay's lost. Jay's lost. Oh. I gotta go pack up the trailer. I'm going home. Well, I had a good visit with Uncle Mike, Aunt Laura, and even Cousin James. As the Spirit Box said, we did have drinks with ice, and they are doing well. The Blue Jays better do better tomorrow because they're going to be gone out of the playoffs if they don't win tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to take a little ride into Peterborough, travel some of the back roads, look at the old barns, get some fall scenes, do some photography. Blue Jays have to win tomorrow night or this was a long trip for nothing. Uncle Mike and I know how this ends, right? We're Leaf fans, we're Jays fans. It never ends well for us, so fingers crossed. All right, guys. I am retiring to the trailer. It's kind of early. It's like 10:30. So, I learned a couple of things today about family that I didn't know. Aunt Laura was telling me, because they watch my channel, and now I do a lot of paranormal stuff on the channel. She was telling me that, twice in her life now, she has dreamed of people that passed away and they came to say goodbye to her before anyone knew that they were gone. And so she told me these two stories today and said, you know, I think this runs in the family because I talk on the channel about knowing things before they would happen when I was a kid, like a sense of deja vu or an instinct. And Aunt Laura was saying that Uncle Mike's father got sick and passed away, but nobody knew that he had passed away. He was only 39. So I guess he didn't get sick. He just suddenly passed away. He had an aneurysm. And Aunt Laura was dating Uncle Mike. They were teenagers at the time. And she had this dream that Uncle Mike's dad came to visit and he was wearing green pajamas with brown triangles on them, like a design. And so she woke up the next morning. He had come to visit and he said, he called her Kitten. And he said, Kitten, I'm dying. And so she woke up the next morning. She went and told my grandmother, she said, hey, I had this really strange dream that Mike Boatman Sr. was sick and died. 10 minutes later, the phone rang, and they found out that Uncle Mike's dad had actually passed away. And when they read the coroner's report, because he was so young, I guess they autopsied him and tried to figure out what he died of. He died of an aneurysm, and in there it said what he was wearing, green pajamas with a brown patterned design, and she said they were triangles. I saw it. It was in the dream. And then the second time, I forget who it was, but again, the same thing happened. Good friends of theirs that they used to play cards with, etc. Person came to her and said, tell Uncle Mike that I am happy now. I'm in a good place. And again, they didn't know that this person had died. And she told me the whole sequence of the dream and, you know, they were in a car and what was going on. And then they found out, again, that this person had passed away. The next day she found out, and they didn't know beforehand. So twice she dreamed of that, okay? So Aunt Laura's saying, you know, it's possible that all of us kids... Aunt Laura is my mom's twin sister. And I'm also a twin, okay? So this stuff is definitely passed down. So my cousin Dawn, who is Aunt Laura's daughter, also, when she was a kid, could see spirits. They took her to the graveyard to see grandparents And something scared Shayla, and she ran back to the car. She saw a spirit in the graveyard. And she locked herself in the car and she wouldn't get out. And then a second incident occurred that when she was at school, the teacher told her to come back to class, and she said, "No, I can't because I don't want to leave the little boy alone." And they were like, "Who are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, the little boy." And they asked her to describe the little boy, and he was like wearing 1800s overalls. He was just a kid, barefoot, sounded like a poor little farm kid. And she said, "I don't want to leave him out here alone." So she obviously was seeing something that no one else could see. And she was telling the teacher, "He's standing right there." And she was like 5 or 6. So that's my cousin's daughter. Oh, there was one more incident too. When they were traveling up north one time, she said there was a little girl flying beside the car. And she had wings. And this is coming from a little kid who wasn't making up stories. That's what she saw. So there is more to it, guys. There's some strange things have happened, stories. And I'm learning stuff about, like, I didn't know Aunt Laura had never told me those stories before today. So I think that's pretty cool. Ooh, up bright and early this morning. I see this beautiful fog down here, just down the road from Aunt Laura and Uncle Mike's. And I thought maybe there's a picture down here somewhere. It's still a little dark, but we're going to drive the back roads here and see what we can find. The cornfield, that's what we found. How's that for a misty morning sunrise? Beautiful. Apparently we've got a turkey crossing here. Anybody want to buy a house down here in the Kawarthas? There you go. What a beautiful place. I gotta pull over and talk for a minute because I'm having such an amazing morning of photography. I don't want to miss any of the light, so I'm still on the hunt for new scenes here. But 23 years ago, my wife and I lived down here in the Kawarthas in Peterborough. We moved down so that she could go to Trent. And while we were here at that time, I bought my first digital camera, which was a Canon G2. It was a 4 megapixel wonder. And I remember traveling all these back roads. I knew every one of them, you know, where all the old barns were, old fences. I loved shooting that stuff. And this morning, guys, I'm having such a great morning of photography. I feel so inspired because it's a very different area than back at home. It is all farmland. And this place holds a special place in my heart because I lived here. My aunt and uncle live here. I've been coming here since I was a kid. And the sense of community that you get here. I've passed many people on the road this morning. Every one of them has waved. Guys have pulled off on the side of the road because some of these little laneways aren't big enough for 2 trucks to pass each other. And before I got the opportunity to pull off, you know, they had pulled off. They're waving to me before I even get close. There's a very tight-knit community here. Salt of the earth. Hard-working folks. A lot of farmers. Dairy. Corn. And it's a heartwarming place. It really is. And the history. I look at all these old barns and buildings, and people are still living in these, you know, 200-year-old farms. I've passed some colonial-style log homes. I don't know how old these things are, and people are still, you know, living in them. I'm like, it's rich in history and community. And I do miss living down here. I'm feeling super inspired this morning. I'm getting some great shots. So we're going to continue on before the light gets any brighter. But I had to, you know, reminisce a little bit with you guys because so many, you know, roots of my photography started here, you know, in the Kawarthas. I think this is where my love of old fences came from. Well, that and barns, because I sure love to take pictures of both. Well, that's a new one. $50 liters. We're going to get a can of pop. There it is. One free can of pop with my fill-up. I've never seen that anywhere before, ever. This is the only place left that I know of that still has an active working drive-thru. Comment below, do you guys still have a drive-thru movie theater in your town? I swear, this is the last one in Canada. I don't know of any other ones. Pretty cool. Just killing some time with Uncle Mike here in the woodshop, and he made me a nice family plaque. Only problem is, he left the H off the end of Hannah. Not that we care, but... So I said, well, we're going to test you, Uncle Mike. Can you put an H on there? And he says, I can put a name on a piece of rice. So let's see if he can do it.
Center engraved, yeah.
I saw some smoke coming out of his ear there a minute ago. I think we got it lined up. We'll see. Hey, there it is. Hannah with an H on the end.
Yeah.
We squeezed it in there. Alright guys, so we've talked about it before. Mike's Custom Engravings on Facebook. If you want anything etched in wood, glass, whatever, he can do. A grain of rice, apparently. So, check him out. Oh, God.
Oh, for you try.
See you next year. Whoa, well, I'm making that face because 2 things stink. The Blue Jays' performance and my feet. But we're here for 2 more nights. I'm already here. I was hoping the Blue Jays would extend the wild card into a 3-game series. They couldn't do it. What else is new? Story of our lives. I don't just, it's not just me. Uncle Mike has suffered through even longer being a Leaf fan and a Jays fan than me. So we can at least mourn together. That was just a terrible performance, guys. You made it to the wild card and you couldn't score more than 1 run in 2 games. You didn't deserve to be there. Sorry, but anyway, so I'm not going home till Friday. So tomorrow we're going to go out and get some more photos because I had a fantastic photo trip this morning. And then tomorrow night I'll go to my cousin James's house, have dinner, watch a movie, visit him and the kids and whatnot, and get that part of the visit in while I'm here as well, and then head home Friday. Disappointing, so I'm going to bed early, cry myself to sleep. Up bright and early, 6 o'clock, up way before the sun, so I'm just sitting here killing some time. I'm going to have to find somewhere to burn this hat today, I guess. But on to better things. We're going to do some photography. We're down here. Might as well go for a 2-hour, 3-hour drive and see what we can find. Can you see it on my face? The morning glow. Let's get to work. And I thought, oh, let's check it out, and it is amazing. Well, I can smell the manure. We are definitely in farm country. And unfortunately, there's an old barn I used to come visit. It is no longer standing. Time moves on. Guess that's the end of the road.